Well, hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've seen you for various reasons, mostly the summer and the heat. I just had to have so many fans going and everything. Each, one of the videos just had that loud fan noise, so I just stopped for a while, gave myself a little break, and now we're back kind of doing some, figure out where I'm at here, doing some little videos here. So this would be one I'm making of, a little house on the riverbank. I've been kind of into that lately. I'm not sure why, but I have. So that's what I'm kind of doing a lot of. Right now I'm just making a couple of steps to walk down. The windows in here. I hope you're having a really great summer, that you're able to do some painting. I have a small AC unit which broke. So I managed to take it apart and sort of fiddle with it, and I seem to have gotten it back to work, kind of, so the last 90 degree days that we've had were kind of brittle, although I did get to spend some of them with my daughter and granddaughter in Massachusetts, so it wasn't as bad this time around. And I have, put it together, cleaned it and so forth, to get it to work, to a degree where it will, just kind of dull the heat a little bit. But when it's humid, forget it. It just, it doesn't really. But we're pretty much, I think at this point, we're pretty much behind that kind of weather. I hope. So I'm not stressing too much about any of it at this point. So right here, I'm just making kind of filling in like a cement, what do you call it? A foundation. So that's kind of just what I'm doing right here. I have a reference photo. This is the reference photo, but it won't look like that by the time I'm done. For the most part, I never, just never end up doing anything exactly once it hits my eyes and my brain, it turns into what I want it to turn into, which is good, is what it's supposed to be. So, yeah, that's what we're doing here. I've been doing quite a few landscapes in the watercolor lately, although I've also been doing quite a few flowers. I just love doing flowers in watercolor. There's such a beauty in that, as I'm sure if you ever do get to try watercolor, you will find out for yourself. It's just an absolutely, too much water. There's a lesson right there. If you have too much water on your paintbrush, you're going to just get blobs. So we don't want blobs. Make sure you kind of tap your brush on your towel or whatever you have. I forgot. Shame on me. But today I've been going all weekend and just running around everywhere lately. So, besides, like I said, the trip to Mass. So, right before that. So I am really not going anywhere today. And I thought today would actually be a good day for some of these videos that I'm, falling behind on because of the weather. I'm not worried about it though. My channel is not, trying to win millions or anything else. I'm just trying to just help everyone who would like to learn to paint, give them a little something to go on and watch me paint, which helps you to learn. Everybody paints differently, We all have our own styles, and we should. Now, I did get the little bit of it. I'm going to grab, I have something else that I use. Oh, no, I don't have it here. Well, I'll get some white paint. But it's an ink, it's like an ink pen, and you can also use that for whites. Works really good for whites. But I didn't bring it in the kitchen. So we will just use some white paint. This happens to be white watercolor paint. It works great. So we'll just use that. Now you've got your, I have already decided that my my shadow side is on the right hand side and my highlight is on the left side. So you establish that so that once you get painting, you're not like you got indications of light over here. No, I mean, you can do that. I mean, it could be coming just from the top. So some things will be lit and something, actually, to tell you the truth, let's back up a little bit on that sentence. I did not indicate the light from where it was coming from. So as of right now, my light's coming from the top. So I can have light over here and over there and all kinds of different places. Let's just make it simple on this particular time around. And I'm just adding in some more white for some highlights there and get a little darker in the area of the cement part. The foundation. You can make it light or dark, whatever not too much there. Whatever you want to. I'll tell you, I started out for many years, I'm talking like 40 years or so, in acrylic painting. And then I switched over. I finally stopped listening to the stupid voice in my head that told me I couldn't do it. Please don't do that. If you want to do, it took me forever to get into watercolor painting, and it's only because I just didn't think I could do it. I love acrylic painting. I did quite well with acrylic painting. Why I would think I couldn't do watercolor is beyond me, but you know how that goes. So don't listen to those voices. If you want to paint, get your materials and go for it. Just go for it. I love this watercolor painting. Absolutely love this watercolor painting. I would never have known that if I kept listening to the voice, right, in my head that I can't do it. So I even taught myself the guitar in my life. Why I would even go there in my mind, I don't know. But we do these things. We all do. But I'm asking you, please don't, and do your own self a favor. If you're interested, like I said, go get your stuff and paint. You might find, which you probably will, that you absolutely love it. So we're gonna I've got another round brush here, and I've got some greens. And right now I wanna add right here, in front of these others, I want to add this this tree and set of trees coming down the dock, by the dock. And I'm going to have to add some yellow because I didn't put enough, little bit of extra water on there. Well, it's okay, it worked out this time. Well, anyway. Thank goodness that worked out okay. And then I'm just gonna lighten up some areas of the rocks here. Now this whole area here is going to be grass, and I'm going to be putting the flowers there. And I may, more than likely will, do different kind of flowers than what it's showing. I don't know, we'll see. See what happens. Like I said, I never know. So I think one of the ways I like to do grass, especially when it's like up close, like this is pretty close to our eyes, I like to use the fan brush because it makes it, you know, look rather more generic. And I like that. I definitely, so I'm going to have some dark green mixed in, whoops, darker green mixed in with some lighter greens. And we're just going to, I don't want much water on, and I'm just going to go like this. And you see how already it's not a super smooth look. It's a, and of course we want to get this even darker here in the front, but right now we're starting out. So right now, this is all going to be kind of light right in our face here. In different places we'll add the dark like you see, because I've got a mixture of things on my brush. I've got some green, some yellow, I got some gamboge, and I had some other color, sepia, burnt sienna, that was on my brush. So it's kind of all mixing in together, which I'm doing on purpose. So I'm just going back and forth. But you know how grass is not just stick straight? It moves, you know, in the wind, in the breeze. That is what I like to depict when I'm making grass, when I'm doing grass, and when I'm doing grass with the fan brush. I'm going to stick some more colors in here. Oop, that was a little too much on the gamboge. So, yeah, so I got a bunch of colors going on here. Right at the top part, it's going to be quite light because the sun is, you know, hitting it. So I'm leaving that white area right there for a minute. Just kind of dancing my brush. I'm even going to go into some of that sepia. And I've even got some blue on my tablet. On my palette. And I'm even going to go, I just love to just grab the colors that are sitting in on my palette. It's great. Okay, so we've got, I love it. See how that came out? All right, now what I want to do now is I want to actually take those off my brush. One thing you may need to do is spray your paints here and there, especially in the summer with the fans going and so forth. I do have one going, but I purposely turned it way down so that you could hear me talk and you wouldn't have to listen to this ridiculous fans in the background. You're welcome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take this nice lighter orange, right? And we're just right up against the, in fact, we even need some more yellow. Because right up here, the sun is really shining on that stretch coming down, you see? So we're gonna make this still using the fan brush. Leave some little white spaces there. Then I'm going to go into a bit more dark here. Geez, I guess I need to add more paints to my paints. And we need to just kind of stick in some darker areas for a little bit. So I'm going to pull down that like that. And here and there, down here. Because you want to have your lights and your darks, right? We've talked about that. If you've watched any of my videos, we have certainly talked about that quite a few times, that, you know, you need to have your darks and your lights. It's what the lights aren't going to pop out unless you've got the darks, and vice versa. So you just kind of have to be aware of that. And I'm just kind of blobbing this in for a little dark area coming down there. And you can use your fan brush for, you know, a lot of things. But this is especially one that I've always liked to use it for. So I need to put some grasses there. And I'm gonna, now that I've even got a little different green on, I'm gonna dab around. But you see how, I mean, I like it. I don't You might not, but do you see how it's almost like you can see the blades of grass, right? Which I like it. I think it looks so much more real or authentic or organic. You know, there's so many terms out there. But now we need to lighten, the sun is coming down, so we know that basically, you know, this is lighter up here because the sun is, if I don't put my arm into everything, the sun's beating down here from the top. So we know that we've got some areas that are a bit whiter than others. So I guess that'll work. I always use a combination of brushes. I use a combination of, whoops, I went right over my stairs. Well, it's part of the foundation, but it's the stairs, so I want that to indicate that. I guess this brush isn't going to be the one I want to use. This is a round brush, and it has a point, but it's gotten pretty messed up. But I've used it for a long time. I've even done the things that says I'm not spending a bunch of money to try to make it like new. I've found the trick of the boiling water works really well. But it's, you know, been used for many little techniques. So this particular, I have so many brushes, so, you know, I'm not about to go and I'll just go on to the next brush. So, all right, so let's see where we're at here. So I need to find one of my very small tipped brushes, which was here. There it is. Okay, see, this is much smaller tip. And I just need to get some darker so I can come, too much water. Another thing, too, I meant to say, you may look at something and think it's black. I do not use black. I mix, you know, I use sepia mixed with blue, mixed with red. I use purples. I do not use black, straight black. I mix colors with black, but I don't care. I'm all about the mixing of colors. I love to mix colors and, you know, kind of see what happens. Like I said, especially on my palette, I love mixing colors on my palette and then just using them. You know, I'm going along and I'm like, oh, that would look so good there, and it does. Or that color mix there that happened would look so good there, and it does. So, you know, it's just a matter of that, and it's a matter of preference. Some people may go, oh, no, you can't do that. Well, poppycock, I can do whatever I want, right? So can't you? This is your painting. You are the artist. Never forget that. Ever forget that. Everybody's going to have their opinion. Most people are very nice. But then you get those that, you know, oh, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, that was kind of like that when it was the idea of not being able to use white. I came into this, you know, way after that, pretty much. I mean, they got so many whites out there, it's like, who would even bother to say it anymore? But there will be some. So, I mean, so far, this is, I think, coming out pretty well, don't you? Pretty nicely. I think I lost you in the grass down here. But that was using the, I've got my paper vertical, and I've got my phone horizontal, so that didn't work out too well. Anyway, so, you know, I just used the fan brush, you know, mostly like this, and then back and forth, and I put in lots of different colors. And actually, I can show you right now because we need to add some bright yellow, nice yellow, in a few little spots. And I wanted to use the fan brush, like I said, because it makes everything look so generic-y. Because that's even a word. Generic-y. Oh, I do have fun. Okay. Any day that I can sit here and paint is a win for me. Any day. So, All right, right now I want to get a green, but I want it to be dark. So I'm kind of mixing it with some others. And I'm going to just, I don't ruin it here, but I need to get some darks in here as well. So we'll just do that. Kind of come down. That'll be fine. That's fine. Now what I'm going to have to do, I actually see something I didn't see before. So I need to go back into my green. Right up here, and those are going to be quite lighter. I didn't finish putting in, so I had them drawn out because I don't always draw out my paintings, my work, but I did on this one. I just wanted to on this one. It's all up to you. But aren't these beautiful, the trees? Oh, I absolutely love, when I did acrylic paint, I love doing trees then. I don't know what it is about trees, but I love trees. Oh, and we all have our stuff, right, that we love to paint. And I just happen to be one that loves trees. So I'm going to add a few background ones here, just sort of in with the others. Again, these are going to look like they're kind of way in the background. Sometimes you can use the tip in the middle. It's just all in your preference. I do all of it. So from this way 1 minute and this way another minute. So, it's all up to you how you want to go about that. All right, so we've got quite a lot of our darks and our lights. All right, so at this point, I need to kind of let this one dry a little, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to put some little bit lighter grasses with the white. Yeah, I can't do it right now. It's too, now what you can do is you can take a hair dryer and dry it. I don't have that with me right now, and I'm not going to go get it for just a 5-minute thing at the most. So we'll let it dry, and I'll be back in a second. Well, I decided what I would do here instead of waiting for it to dry is take this. You see how with it still wet, I can use something straight edged, sharp, whatever. And I can do the same thing I would have done with some white paint with this. So we didn't have to wait after all. So this is another, example of things that work, with watercolors. So many. You dance your grasses around. You don't want them stick straight. You don't want trees stick straight, like Bob Ross used to say, and he's the one that inspired me to paint. So, we don't want to paint telephone poles. We're not painting telephone poles. But you see how that, I'm in a giggly mood, folks, this morning, so bear with me. Hopefully you might get a little giggle out of it yourself. I don't know. Sometimes I just wake up like that. I think it's because I'm tired, and usually that is the case. When I'm tired, I'm giggly. I guess it could be worse. I could be ugly, right? But when I'm tired, I am a very giggly person. I'm sure there's some out there that can relate. All right, well, that's got its nice little highlights on it now. We'll bring some white highlights. Use this white here, down here, closer to the, coming to the water and the sand. In fact, I think I'm going to bring some down here a little bit too. A little bit of my sand color with some white. And lighten it up a little bit more. Going that way. Yeah, it's okay, I guess. You might do something and you might end up saying, oh, I kind of wished I hadn't done that. Don't worry about it, because more than likely before you're done, you'll either change it or something. I mean, it's just the way that works in watercolor. The best thing to do is try not to too many times go back into your work, to overdo something. It ends up just kind of not turning out like you want. So kind of figure it out as you're going along. Look ahead a little bit, like what might I want there, and What am I going to have over there? And, you know, stuff like that. And you'll find that that will work better for you than, you know, trying to redo stuff. I mean, that was good advice I listened to on that one. It just will work out better for you. I don't always plan my work. I mean, sometimes I don't even use a reference photo. Sometimes I just sit down and that's it. I just go for it, you know, and I don't want to, sometimes I like the spontaneity. I like to, like, not have a specific plan all the time. Sometimes I like to just sit down and see what's going to come out. All right, now I guess this was it. I had an even smaller little pointed brush, but you know, I was painting last night in my bedroom, so I guess I must have taken a few brushes in there, but that's okay. This one's pretty small, and I just want to use it for the highlight here on this rim of the boat. I'm a little shaky from coffee, I guess, because and put some here because the sun is beating down pretty good in this area. So, all right. All right, so now what we can do here is I'm going to use, those were round ones, I'm going to use a filbert. It's a small filbert. I'm going into my yellow. So we're going to now make dandelions. I haven't done this very often, so we'll kind of see how it comes out. So what I'm going to want here is I'm going to get some of my bright yellow and put it down. I'm going to grab some white with it because I've got a lot of yellow in my grass. So, you know, I'm about to make a yellow flower. And then I'm going to grab some, what do you call it? No, that's too much. Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, yellow ochre, that's the color. And the bottoms of it, you know, the bottoms of the flower will have the yellow ochreish color. And lots of times I mix it with gamboge, which I have. And I was starting out with the bright yellow first, but now we're going to use this, now that it's on my brush, we're going to use it on the bottoms of it. Okay, so let's take that off. Now let's go into that bright yellow. And right on the tops of what I have just put down, we're going to add, remember this is a painting. So it's not a photograph, it's a painting. So I'm depicting the flowers. They are not going to, I mean, I could spend hours and hours and make them look exactly like, and I've done that before many times because I'm a very detailed painter. I'm a very detailed drawer. My art is, I get pretty detailed, but once I learned a bit on the loose style of painting, it kind of changed a bit of what I do, although I still do some nice detailed work. So okay, so we're just adding that little piece, and again we're going to just take our, see if I can, if it's not, it's getting pretty dried, so I can't do it like I would want to. So I'm going to just kind of pull down. Maybe I can dip it into the white a little, and yeah, we can do that. You can do that as well. Just sort of dip it into a color and then pull it. But for the most part, it's pretty dry. So that's okay. And that's how I'm going to do those. And they did not come out like I wanted. So what I'm going to do is get a bit more of this yellow, and then just, for some reason, this yellow is not, I don't know, it's dulled up on me for some reason. Let's get, I think it's because I mixed it with too many other colors. Right? And I'm just going to dab other little yellow flowers, and I'm going to change the way the picture is a little bit, and that's my prerogative. So we're just gonna, a lot of times what I do, which I don't have sitting with me at the table right now, is I use acrylic yellow, and it really pops out, you know, works nicely. So, you know, that's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into some reds and pinks and so forth. And we're going to add some other color flowers in here. Just dabbing with my with the tip of my brush. It doesn't matter what brush. I mean, I happen to have this filberts, so that's what I'm using. I'm just dabbing at indications of little flowers all around. It's summer and I've been very flowery. I've painted a lot of flowers this summer. And then we might even go to the white, because white is always nice to dab around, especially when you're talking flowers. It just sort of, you know, really adds a nice touch to have nice white indication of white flowers all scattered around in your painting. You can even go up here onto your, you know, on the other area here and indicate that there's some other white flowers just sort of peeking out there, popping out. The finishing touches for the highlights are usually, you know, like when you're finished and the colors have dulled down a bit, you know, dried, and then you can go back in with, you know, whatever it is, usually a white or something that you've added white to, or and so forth, and then just go back in and dab on the tops of what you were trying to be lighter before. And see, all these brushes give, you know, a different effect to what you're painting. So if you don't like it, just go in, get a different brush, and go in again, do something different. I like all the effects of the different brushes myself. And we need to make it a bit darker around the foliage of the house, because it always, you know, ends up being that way. And there I actually don't think I'm going to do much of anything else with this. So I'm going to come down and to the bottom here, move my thing out of the way. You can see the bottom, I guess. Moved it a little. So there we have this very beautiful picture. I could do tons more things. You know, I mean, it's endless what you can do, you know, when you want to create things. For now, this is really basically all I want to do. I mean, I'm going to add my own, a few more other like that. Like all of a sudden there's a really pretty, oh, that's a pretty color, you know. And these are up front, so they're pretty bold. They're in our face, so a little bit more bold than the other ones, and that's pretty. I very much like that. Something about the roof of this house, and I'm going to change that right now, because I think what I did, I went into one color and I meant to grab the other color. This roof I wanted to be a bit on the lighter side than what it came out, so I'm going to add a bit of yellow, and yeah, there we go. That's more of what I was kind of looking for. Because the white is there as well to give the highlights that's, oops. Like I said, I goofed. Keep going, don't stop, you know. Just keep going. And that's really just I think what I'll do is this is where my detailing part of me wants to come in, and I'm just going to take a little yellow. It maybe says, oh, there's somebody home in there. Yeah, so that's it, folks. And it's certainly a long enough video. So I hope you like it. The only other thing I'm going to have to come back in and do, and I forgot to do, but I might as well do it while I have you here. And that's with some black, some sepia, some brown, boy, I'm tongue-tied here. Some blue and some sepia, because in the water, I started to at one point, and then I seem to have fallen away from it for some reason. We want to add, there's, the waves and the parts of the waves that you can see from afar off, and they look dark, So you want to get, and as they go back, they'll get lighter and lighter. So we're just adding in that little bit of, when you're looking down at the water, you see the dark colors, the dark wave type things in the water. So for the most part, folks, even though I could go back in here a million times, and probably will in some areas just to give some extra highlights for you guys, we're done. So I hope you enjoyed it. Check out some of my other things. There's a lot of paintings there since I started my watercolor. Check them all out. Let me know what you think. Please try these things for yourself. I'd love to see some of your work, and don't ever be afraid to show your beginnings. These are actually for beginners, so mine are for beginners, as well as anyone else, but I'm hoping to spur you on and get you into painting. So have a wonderful day, folks. Bye for now.